Welcome, everybody, to our information session on rules governing hearings before the department. We'll get started in just a second. As a reminder, this session is being recorded and it will be posted on our website, denvergov.org, in the business licensing section on our public hearings page. So if you miss it this time around, it'll be posted there. We will also be posting the final signed copy of the rules, as well as some supporting documents on that same website. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll introduce myself. I'm Erica Rogers. I'm the Policy Director at Excise and Licenses, and I have Abby Soyson here with me. She is our Senior Policy Analyst who helped with these rules. So we will dive right in and go through some of the things that you can expect to see in the rules governing hearings before the Department of Excise and Licenses. We'll start with a discussion of our current hearing policies and procedures, our objective and approach to our updates, and then kind of go through some of the hearing rules and guides sections that you can expect to see. Next, we'll go through those in detail, and then we'll end with any next steps and conclusion, and then any questions that we get from the audience. We'd love to be able to answer those ahead of the effective date. So as a refresher, we have currently hearing policies and procedures that apply to all of our excise and licenses department hearings. We have this set of policies and procedures in 3 documents: our original hearing policies and procedures that was adopted in 2018. Again, this is a policy document. It's not formal agency rule. It describes a lot of the policies and procedures for our needs and desires hearings, our denial appeal hearings, and our disciplinary hearings. We made 2 updates to those hearing policies and procedures via memos, one in April of 2021 and one in February of 2022. These made some temporary changes permanent regarding procedures that accommodated for social distancing during the pandemic, as well as added new policies and procedures applicable to common consumption area licenses in 2021 and marijuana hospitality store and hospitality and sales licenses in 2022. In our approach to updating the hearing policies and procedures, we originally wanted to consolidate all of the information back into one document so that folks didn't have to reference 3 separate documents. However, in our work to do this, we found that it might be better to adopt some formal agency rules and then provide the rest of the information as guidance. Our objectives in doing this were to provide greater clarity, greater transparency, more flexibility, both for customers and the department to adapt to innovation and technological updates. And we also wanted to be more consistent throughout our language and make the documents more accessible to all the folks that have to use them. As a reminder, our timeline on this project, again, I mentioned the 2018, 2021, and 2022 documents and when they were adopted that comprise our current hearing policies and procedures. Last November, we published notice in the Daily Journal of a public hearing that would consider adoption of proposed agency rules and regulations pertaining to these public hearings. And we held that public hearing on December 8th of last year, where we went over the draft rules that were posted on our website. We took public comments both at that hearing and in written form for an additional week through December 15th, 2023. Thank you to everyone who submitted public comments. They were very helpful in our review of the draft rules. We had originally been aiming for a January 1st effective date. However, due to some unforeseen circumstances, we had to push that back. So the rules will now be effective February 1st, 2024, which is in just a little under 2 weeks. So let's dive into the rules themselves and the provisions that you can expect to see in the final signed version of those rules. You will see, just like the hearing policies and procedures, the hearing rules will contain sections related to scope and authority, as well as a section for legal definitions that will be used throughout those hearing rules. The definitions also refer to definitions that are used in the Denver Revised Municipal Code and the Colorado Revised Statutes. The general provisions article will look a lot like the hearing policies and procedures in the general procedures sections. It will contain sections that outline standard processes that apply before, during, and after all department hearings. This includes processes related to representation by different entities at the hearing, as well as any filings that may be related to a hearing. These are all things that you should be familiar with: pre-hearing briefs, recommended decisions, final decisions, and any objections and responses, etc. In addition, these general procedure sections also outline the standard protocols for requests that you can make to the department regarding a hearing, such as copy requests, continuance requests, interpreter or translation service requests, and requests to use cameras or record a hearing. The hearing rules contain a section devoted to the processes that apply regarding subpoenas for department hearings. These processes were not explicitly stated in the hearing policies and procedures that we currently have. However, now they appear in the hearing rules for greater transparency so that anyone curious about the subpoena process and how we utilize it now can see exactly how that works. In Article 2 are the rules specifically for needs and desires hearings. This is just like the hearing policies and procedures. It contains provisions that tell the applicant and those present at the hearing the effect of a failure to appear. Also, like the hearing policies and procedures, these sections of the hearing rules outline the requirements for posting notice of a hearing on a sign. They contain requirements for collecting and filing petitions, and they contain the requirement that at least one neighborhood witness must testify on the reasonable requirements of the designated area and the desires of its adult inhabitants for the license, which is a needs and desires hearing. So overall, these sections look pretty similar to the needs and desires sections of the hearing policies and procedures. In Article 3, you'll find, just like in the existing hearing policies and procedures, the rules have sections that apply only to denial appeal hearings. In the hearing rules, there is a fee associated with the denial appeal hearing. That $150 fee is refundable upon a determination that the denial order be withdrawn. Again, here you'll see results of a failure to appear at an application denial appeal hearing. Like the HPPs, the hearing rules also outline how to appeal the order of denial, what the burden of proof is, and the order of presentation at these hearings. However, the hearing rules do improve on the language from the hearing policies and procedures to clarify the procedure when someone wants to withdraw their petition for that appeal hearing. In Article 4 of the hearing rules, you will also find sections that apply only to disciplinary hearings. These are show cause hearings or noncompliance with an order accepting settlement hearings, for some examples. This section also outlines the effect of a failure to appear at the disciplinary hearing. So like the hearing policies and procedures, these sections contain standard processes that apply before, during, and after the disciplinary hearings, including processes related to proposed settlement agreements and specific hearings related only to disciplinary hearings. Like the hearing policies and procedures, these sections also outline the burden of proof and the order of presentation. However, this section also improves on the hearing policies and procedures to clarify the procedure when there's noncompliance with an order accepting settlement in place from a previous disciplinary hearing. Finally, in Article 5 of the hearing rules, you'll see the rules specifically devoted to the processes that apply for administrative citation appeal hearings. This is another area where the processes were not explicitly stated in our previous hearing policies and procedures, but they now appear here in the rules for greater transparency. Similar to the appeal hearings for orders of denial, the hearing rules set a fee associated with the administrative citation appeal hearing. That $150 fee is also refundable upon a determination that the administrative citation be dismissed or withdrawn. One thing about administrative citations is that they may be withdrawn and reissued by the department at any time prior to the hearing, but if they are withdrawn, the hearing will be vacated. The hearing rules, similar to other sections, outline a burden of proof and the order of presentation at these administrative citation appeal hearings. So that was a brief overview of everything that you'll see in the rules. Before I dig into the hearing guides, I wanted to let everyone know that there have been some changes from the original draft. However, most of these changes are grammar changes, typographical errors, changes to allow for greater understanding of the department's intent. So thank you again to everyone who submitted comments. You were key in catching some typographical errors as well as some grammar improvements that we made throughout the document that we hope will help folks understand as clearly as possible what the rules are intended to say. If anyone has any questions about changes that were made from the draft document that was posted for the rules hearing to the final signed version, feel free to reach out and we can provide you with those changes. What you won't see in the rules are additional policies and procedures from the existing hearing policy and procedure documents. These will now be in 3 different hearing guides. So we'll have a hearing guide specifically for needs and desires hearings, a hearing guide specifically for denial appeal hearings, and a hearing guide specifically for disciplinary hearings. These are our 3 most common hearings. A lot of the information here will be a consolidation of all of the information that is found in state law and state rule regarding certain license types and requirements. It will be a restatement and collection of the Denver Revised Municipal Code sections that apply in Chapter 32 and perhaps some more specific Chapter 6 or Chapter 33 requirements. As well as any of the rule provisions that are contained in this rules document. So the idea is that instead of having a large hearing policies and procedures guide that is not formal agency rule, these guides will be a consolidation of all of the formal authority, will help folks who are participating in the hearings know where to look, know what to do, and if they can be updated to adapt to any changes in department policy and any changes in department procedure. So all of these 3 will be posted on our website on February 1st, along with the signed version of the hearing rules. Next steps and questions. So before we get into the question section of the presentation, the next steps, as I mentioned, are that these 4 documents, the rules and the 3 guides, will be posted on our website no later than February 1st. However, before then, we will be emailing anyone who has a hearing scheduled for February with the department to provide them with the updated documents and give them the opportunity to request a continuance if they would like. Like I said, not too much has changed. It's more of the format and the formality. So if anyone needs more time to digest that, you're certainly welcome to request that continuance. So the hearing policies and procedures remain on our website through February 1st, but those new guides will replace them on that day. If you have any questions after this information session or you're watching a recording of this information session, you can email us your questions to licenses@denvergov.org. Please just put in the subject line hearing rules, hearing guides, hearing policies and procedures, something that gives our folks the idea of what the question's about. We can get that answered fairly quickly. With that, I will open it up to the members of the audience. If anyone has any, I don't see any questions in the Q&A box, but if anyone wants to raise their hand or submit questions in the Q&A box, we can answer those at this time. And I'll give folks a few minutes if they would like to submit anything. All right, I don't see any hands raised and I don't see any questions in the Q&A. If anyone would like to sign off, you're welcome to do that. We'll remain here for a few more minutes just in case anyone does think of a question. But thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing how the new hearing rules and guides are being used and how effective they are in their unveiling. So thank you for joining us today. All right, we haven't gotten any additional questions, so I think with that, we'll close the webinar. Thanks again to everybody who joined us today. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.